Hey, good morning, everybody. Hi, Deb. Hi, Beth Ann. Hi, Susan. Good morning, Noor. This is Brittany at Big Cat Rescue in Tampa, Florida. I am just making sure that I can see comments and donations, and I'm seeing all your hearts. So I was going to give you just a couple seconds to join in. And what we're going to do today is we have a virtual feeding tour for you guys. We feed every single day here at Big Cat Rescue between 8 and 9 a.m. And we've got a select few. We've got about 7 cats to feed breakfast to this morning. So if you guys are new to us or you're not so new to us, we have, in the past, we have always done feeding tours and keeper tours on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. A ton of revenue for the cats through those tours, and since we have been closed due to COVID-19 since March 16th, we unfortunately have lost that type of revenue. So we thought it'd be fun at least once a week to do a virtual tour exactly like we would have done in person. So I think we're good to go. I'm seeing everybody. This is Nabisco Bobcat, very patiently waiting. So today we have a virtual feeding tour. Yay! This is senior keeper Sarah C. And we have level 2 intern Jordan. He's gonna assist and back up today. All right, Sarah, well, let's take it away.
Basically just gonna give you guys a whole rundown. I know a lot of people are big supporters, a lot of people watch us all the time, which is awesome, but also almost every live has new visitors, so every live. So a little bit of background about our sanctuary. We're accredited by the Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries, which separates us from other facilities in a few ways. So most importantly, we never touch the cats unless it's medically necessary. So we never give in and give them a big hug, nor do we want to. We also only do rescues, so we never buy the cats. And once they're here, we don't sell or trade them. So they're here for their whole lives. We like to say we're a retirement community for cats.
Yes, we are.
Very geriatric population here.
We do.
Also, we have about 50 plus cats right now on 67 acres. So it's a really wonderful facility. Unfortunately, like Brittany said, we can't do tours at the moment for many reasons. So I'm really excited to be here with you guys giving a virtual feeding tour.
Yay!
And on the feeding tour, we're only going to be feeding 7 cats. So all the other cats in the property have been fed, or they are in the process of being fed. Cats love to eat. They're like gorge eaters in the wild, so they can eat a lot in one sitting. So what that means is we're going to be passing by cats. They're going to be sitting going, hey, come over here, feed me. Most likely they already got their breakfast. So we're going to be focusing on the cats that we chose today. So we have a whole bunch of different cats. We have bobcats, tigers, servals, and a jaguar and a cougar. And they all eat different types of food depending on their size, their age, and their species. So our vets decide their diets. They divide it up based off how much they would eat in the wild. They eat every day here at around this time. So they usually in the wild only eat once every few days. The smaller cats might eat more frequently, but they are so spoiled and pampered here. So they get regular meals. So I'm going to show you guys what they might eat. This is a tiger diet. So this is for Kali. So today we're feeding out beef and chicken. So we have beef chunks right here, which we spend hours cutting up the day before. We also have chicken drums. And you can see how much this looks just like my hand. So you'll see we have a lot of techniques to avoid me putting my hands right in there with the cats. We also have zoological mush, which is the ground up insides of cows. It looks very gross to us. It's almost like hamburger meat. And it sounds pretty nasty, but this is how they get their vitamins and minerals. This is so important. Some of them love it, some of them hate it. But we always give it to them. If they don't eat mush, we'll give them something else with supplements put in to make up for it. We also have pork as well. They get a whole smorgasbord basically.
They do. She's got a good one today.
She does. I'm so excited. She is adorable. So this is what a bobcat would eat. So we're going to give this to Flint. He's going to be probably our first or second cat.
They got him opposite. So Flint is over there and Nabisco's on this side.
It took 4 people to separate those two. So he gets chicken. He also gets cut up beef. So what's really important to notice is some of the cats, as we'll be feeding out, have food cut up. Might be because they're older, because they have teeth taken out by our vets. And it also might be because some of them are really spoiled and
Yeah.
won't eat whole food.
Exactly.
But cats in the wild, they eat the whole diet, right? So they eat bones, they eat skin, they eat fur. So we do give them food with bones in it, and they just crunch it and swallow it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go feed Flint and Nabisco. I don't want to make them wait any longer. Occasionally. This is a feeding stick. I use this in case food knocks out. So I don't have to my finger is right there in it, so I can knock that back in.
Yep.
So we're gonna
Perfect.
go feed Flint first, and head over to Nabisco. And they're fed in their feeding walkouts, is what we call an extension onto the edge of the cage. It is not their whole enclosure.
Yeah.
They have so much more space. And Brittany will be able to show you that as we're feeding them. But I just wanted to give you guys that ahead of time so you know. So Flint and Nabisco are best buddies. They live in the same enclosure. They're separated right now. And I'm going to feed Flint and then tell you a little bit more about him. He is right over there.
Yep.
You going to take it to go, or you're going to sit right here and eat it? He says, I'm going to sit right here.
Yeah, you guys are gonna love Sarah. She's got a ton of knowledge.
That's what I like to think.
Yes, and she was an intern for several levels and is now a senior keeper, so she has a lot of good info. Thank you guys for all the compliments and all the donations.
So Flint and Nabisco are both bobcats. Some of you might know we just put them together this week. We did a gradual introduction. They're both very young. Flint just turned 1 about a month ago now. Nabisco's 4 years old, and they came from different places, but we thought, you know, they're both very young, they're very healthy, they have a lot of energy, and we thought that they might make good buddies. So we did a gradual introduction, and it was going well. They couldn't touch each other, but they could smell and see each other, and we decided to go ahead and open the door, and they love each other.
Yeah.
They're both fixed. And you'll see as we go around the tour, most cats live by themselves. They actually prefer it that way. In the wild, they're very territorial, and they are here in captivity as well. So usually we're rescuing older cats, so it's too risky to try to introduce them to someone else. But if they were rescued with someone else that they still like, we'll have them fixed and we put them together because we don't breed here. So it's very important that we have them fixed. So Flint was actually a wild bobcat. He was found in Florida, and he was actually originally part of our rehabilitation program. So all the cats that we have here, except for the rehabilitated bobcats, are permanent residents. So what that means, like I said, they come here, they stay here their whole lives, except for these guys. Oh well, except for the rehab bobcats that passed the test. So Flint, unfortunately, was found, he was attacked by hunting dogs, and he had a lot of hip issues and some broken bones. So we decided to try to rehabilitate him, which means they fixed him up, they did surgery. He had a lot of cage rest, and then he went out into one of our special rehabilitation enclosures, and we had to see if he was able to hunt, if he was afraid of humans, which means they wear ghillie suits, which some of you guys may have seen. They look like giant bushes, basically.
Walking trees.
And we do that very strategically so that they don't get used to being fed by humans. If we went up to them and fed them like we are right now, if they went out in the wild, they would just walk up to humans and go, hey, can I have breakfast, please?
Exactly.
Which would not go very well.
No.
So unfortunately, Flint can't eat whole prey, which means he can't go outside. He actually can't pass the bones safely. So that means he won't be able to hunt. Yeah. So we're very lucky to have him here, but it's a little sad. It's a little bit bittersweet because we really want these guys to be out in the wild. So we are happy to have him here. We're very excited that he has a buddy. We're going to go feed Nabisco now.
Yeah, look what he's done. By the way, for those of you that remember, Flint was had his Cougar taken away when he was alone because he shredded it and it was always upside down, and we didn't think about that when we put them back together. And so that's Nabisco's Cougar. And I think it's on borrowed time.
Yeah, and they have permanent toys too. They have, like, actual like balls and rings.
Right.
And he's just a little special boy.
Yeah, so he has Nabisco's Cougar for right now. So this is Nabisco here. We do separate them at feeding time when they live with another cat, so that's why they are separated. Apparently, I guess Sarah was helping with that this morning. Yeah. 4 of you.
They just so much energy, and they just love coming up to say hi to people.
Yes.
Especially Nestle is jumping up the side of the cage, almost giving me a heart attack, which is why we stay so far away from them.
Yeah.
Because he is fully clad.
Yep.
And we've had him for years, and he still gives me a heart attack. Cover the whole flat, my friend.
You gotta move out of the way, sir. Oh, there you go. There we go. Thank you guys very much for the donations. I did see somebody ask if the donations here go towards International Tiger Day, and they do not. You have to do that through the salsa page for International Tiger Day. The donations you put on here, 100% of your donations here go to the cats here at Big Cat Rescue. The donations for International Tiger Day are benefiting the Corbett Foundation, and we're matching those dollar for dollar up to $2,500. So our goal is to donate $5,000, but you have to do that on a different link. So your donations here today are for this tour that Sarah is giving you guys.
So Nabisco came from the Midwest. He came from South Dakota. He was separated from the rest of his family when he was very little in a forest fire. So he went to a facility in South Dakota called Spirit of the Hills. And unfortunately, he wasn't a good candidate for rehabilitation because they didn't put him in any program like that. So once we got him, it was already past that window. So he was so itty bitty when we got him. He was all fluff. He loved still jumping up at the side of the enclosure and scaring us. And bobcats can purr, so he was just purring like crazy, but his claws would be sticking out of the side of the cage like, come on closer. It's like terrifying. So bobcats are really cool. They are found all over the United States and in parts of Canada as well. They have different colorations and spots depending on where they're from. So Nabisco and Flint are actually really good juxtaposition of what northern and southern bobcats look like, because Nabisco, he's big, he's fluffy, he doesn't have very many spots. He has a few on his arms and belly, but other than that, he's pretty much spotless. And Flint was really tiny, got lots of spots on him, very dainty, and that's typical for a Florida bobcat because northern bobcats, they be in snow, they have to retain their body heat. Southern bobcats, they're trying to blend into foliage, and they don't need, obviously, as much beef on their bones because it is very hot here. But they are, like I said, beautiful, very cool all over. They actually, just like Flint, they're found all over Florida. We just usually don't see them here. They're very good climbers, very good at hiding, and they actually do pretty well in suburban environments, but they do much better in rural, of course. So their biggest threats right now are habitat encroachment, because all over Florida, they're building shopping malls and highways, and unfortunately, they get hit by cars a lot. And these guys, they roam for many, many square miles in the wild. So usually what happens is they have a nice home, a big development pops up or a shopping mall, and they come back and it's all gone. So it's kind of unfortunate, but these guys are really scrappy. They're good at eating anything they can get their paws on. So they're pretty resilient creatures. Also, please let me know if I'm talking too fast. I'm from New York. So I always used to tell that to my tours in person. I'd be like, I'm small and I'm from New York, so if I talk too fast and you can't hear me, I will not be offended.
So far, so good, I think. It's interesting he went for the mush instead of the chicken today.
He's a good boy.
You like your veggies.
Usually he leaves some of his mush, so I'm happy to see this.
For sure. All right. Well, if you guys have just joined in, we've only seen Flint and Nabisco bobcats, but we are going to move along. I think we're going to see a Serval, a Jaguar, a Cougar, and some tigers.
Yeah.
All right.
Got a wide variety.
Yeah, I like that. So what we'll do is we'll let the two boys finish their breakfast. They'll stay separated until the cleaners come out and make sure that all of their food has been eaten, or they can pick it up before they put them together. You never want to put two cats together where we think they might fight over food or space. Just gonna see if you could hear him crunching.
So this is a really good time to observe the cats. Jordan and I are watching Nabisco, how he's chewing, if he has any bumps or scrapes. It's really important to watch them eat things like thighs and drums, because you can tell if they're having dental issues, if they're only favoring one side of the mouth or the other, if they're inappetite, like they just won't come to lock out and eat. For most of the cats, it's a big sign something's off. So usually during the day, they are just sleeping and reserving energy, so feeding time is the best time to get a good look at all of them.
All right, well, he looks really good. He does. I mean, me too, yeah. I was just a little worried, and I still cringe when I watch them really play, because I'm like, Flint's made of glass, and Flint's made of glass and Biscuit's a little doofy, so he might not know that he's crushing him. Oh, there's Gilligan over there. Gilly's like, do you have anything for me? Yes. All right, so we are gonna follow Jordan and Sarah a little ways down the road here. I believe we're gonna go see Ginger Serval. And thank you so much to the 13 of you that have donated so far today. It's what makes being able to do these tours possible on Sundays, so thank you very much. I think I had told you guys that it would be Catherine today, but then we discovered that Catherine is coordinating today, so she couldn't really give the tour. So I talked her into doing a keeper tour next Sunday. So Catherine will be our tour guide next week, and we'll be doing the keeper tour, which is not feeding them their breakfast, but it'll be handing out toys and enrichment, operant conditioning, sickles, and that will be with Catherine. So today we have Sarah C. She was an intern turned regular volunteer, moved down here from New York after her internships. This is not the same Sarah that I have told you guys about that named Diablo Tiny Gentleman. That was Sarah D. At one point we had a Sarah B, a Sarah C, and a Sarah D. So I totally forgot she went on vacay. She didn't do it while I was here, so I was like, nope.
Oh, she's mowing her lawn over by the farm.
Okay, she probably thought we forgot about her. So this is Funcation. You guys knew that Zukari was gonna go home last week and Ginger was coming out. Ginger! Running. We didn't forget about you, lady.
I cut up your food because you're spoiled.
We didn't forget about you.
So I always try to beat the cats to putting the food in because it's just safer.
Yeah.
And this way I don't have to like aim and physically catch her.
Right.
I try to beat them to it.
Yeah, we do have some plate hogs where, like, especially like Nabisco, he was a perfect example. He's so fluffy and big that he'll take up the whole, actually Max Bobcat's, I think, one of the worst. There you go. So now you see why she carries a feeding stick. She can push the food in closer if she needs to.
She's so perfect.
She is perfect.
Look at you, Missy.
I've always said she was like the perfect Serval.
Yeah, I loved when I would give tours back in the good old days, pre-coronavirus. A lot of times she'd be up and walking around, and she would just be like the most perfect example of what a Serval looks like.
Absolutely.
So she's an African Serval, so she has a lot of unique attributes. Servals are pretty funky animals. We like to call them Franken kitties or Frankenstein cats because they have big ears, they have spots and stripes. They're the only cats that have that. They have kind of long legs but a shorter tail, small face. But all of these attributes make them really good hunters. So in the wild, those big ears would help her. Ooh, come back!
Where are you going?
She's a little suspicious because
we fed her late. Yeah.
So I'm actually surprised that she came out. Oh no, lady.
Where are you going?
Well, she's demoing how good it looks in Funcation.
Yeah.
She's like, I got 22,000 square feet. I'm gonna kill it.
And I'm gonna make you guys come out and feed me like 3 more times today.
Look at her looking back at us.
I know.
She's like, what? You're following me?
Do you bring it over here?
So what we'll do is we'll leave the food here.
Yep.
And then when we are done feeding everyone else, we'll come back and try and feed her again or pick it up. But we'll definitely make sure she gets the rest of her food. This is not unusual for cats when they first come out on vacation. She just came out on Thursday.
Yeah.
All the cats get a turn in this. They get about a month. And it usually takes them a few days to settle in and make sure that we're not trying to catch them again.
Exactly.
She actually has an above ground tunnel that goes to her home enclosure. So she was able to just walk over. We had to open a few doors to let her out.
Yep.
I think I saw Zukari walking out, but of course he is now doing his own thing.
Yeah.
We wanted to show this. Well,
I think he came home pretty easily. Yeah, she's just being goofy. Look at her over there. What are you doing?
She's so sweet. You're a bug? So she used to, I don't know if she does this anymore, but she used to pick up her food and throw it in the air and play with it.
Yes.
And we're like, we already prepared it for you. You don't have to play with it. Oh, look at her.
She is. She's just trying to play, and she's like, I like this tree, so I'm gonna mark it.
That's half of what they spend their time doing on
Yes.
vacation, marking it. So cats go out on vacation with whoever they live with at home. So Ginger lives by herself. She goes out by herself. If Flint and Nabisco go out on vacation, they'd go out together.
I heard they might be the next ones.
Ooh,
So.
that's fun. Oh my God, they're gonna just tire themselves out.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they're both really easy to load up.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the hardest part about getting small cats out here is will they go into a transport? And both Flint and Nabisco are like, where are we going? Like, it doesn't faze them.
Bless
So.
their hearts. Okay, bye, lady.
All right. Well, we're leaving it here for you. All right. So like Sarah said, we're going to leave her food and we're going to give her some space. And if she wants to come up and finish it, if not, we'll pick it up, we'll log it, and then the coordinator will make sure that they come back out throughout the day. A lot of the small cats like to eat in that back section too when they first come out because, well, yeah, I mean, look how huge these lockouts are. Like, these lockouts were made so that our cougars and our leopards and our jaguar could eat in them. So sometimes the servals and bobcats are like, nope, that's huge. I don't understand what that is. So, all right, well, we'll come back to Ginger. Yeah. Yeah, Mouser's like, I'm here. Got anything extra?
He's so cute. Mouser looks like a serval, but he's a hybrid. He's a mix of a serval and a domestic cat. It's called a Savannah cat. And he already got his breakfast, but he just wanted to say hello.
Yep. He's like, is this the keeper one? Like, where you hand me, like, sickles and other things? So let's see, who was next? Manny and Aries. Okay, perfect. All right.
I gave a big talk to Jinx. I gave him a pep talk. I was like, sir, you will get your breakfast. I will come and feed Aries. You will not get seconds. I'm sorry. I don't make the rules.
I know. I had sent Sarah the list of who everybody had been feeding on the feeding tour, and every single person had Jinx, and Jinx is one of her favorites and one of my favorites, and we were both like, but we keep showing him, like, let's try to show someone else. So we're gonna go to Aries and Manny, but Jinx did already have breakfast, so nobody worry. But we have to keep moving along because within this hour we have to make sure all 7 of our cats get their breakfast. Thank you again to the 15 of you that have donated today. Yeah, I feel like that was definitely necessary. And depending on where Aries is, it can take him an hour to walk over here. Yeah. It's got such a large enclosure now.
So I'm going to feed Manny first and have him just like the other cat. But he is a Jaguar, and he is the most dangerous cat on property. Oh, thank you. So,
oh, you're already over there. Oh, man.
He's like, I'm ready.
Yeah, I guess we got hurries now. We're coming, silly boy. Oh, and he's purring so loud. Oh my goodness. You can like feel it in your chest. He's purring so loud. Well, where'd the Manny go? There's the man.
Oh my gosh, he's so loud.
He does.
So he has his door shut so I can drop the food in safely without getting my fingers bitten off by him. Obviously, I'm still very attentive to what he's doing.
Yeah.
But way safer this way. So we spend a good amount of time walking around in the morning shutting the doors for these cats. All the medium and big cats have to get it shut. Plus a couple of naughty small cats.
Mm-hmm. I know my Cyrus is on the naughty list for the littles. He is very intense about food. So she can open his door. He can come on over. He'll probably be a good one to just listen to him eat for a couple of minutes too, once he gets to those drums.
So Manny is our only Jaguar.
Mm-hmm.
I like to call him Emmanuel when he's being naughty. In the wild, they're from Central and South America. So I go, Emmanuel, ¿qué pasó? So like I said, he's the most dangerous cat here. He is fully clawed, and a lot of the cats come to us already declawed, just for various reasons. But he came to us from a zoo in Nebraska. It's not often that we work with accredited zoos because usually they don't need our help. So accredited zoos would be AZA accredited. It's the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, and they have the best standard of care for zoos. So if you ever go to a zoo, just make sure it's AZA accredited. Do your research first, because there are a lot of facilities that are accredited by ZAA, which is very confusingly similar, and that accreditation means basically nothing.
Yeah.
It just means they're a roadside zoo and they don't provide adequate care. But Manny came from a very good facility. They were just remodeling their exhibits based off the location that the cats came from, and they didn't have a Central and South America exhibit, so we took him. We're very happy to have him. And Jaguars are the strongest of all the cats. They have a bite force of 1,200 pounds per square inch. And for comparison, humans have a bite force of 120 pounds per square inch. So these guys can crush turtle shells. They've been known to take down caiman, which are like sort of like alligators. They are very strong swimmers. They actually have been recorded swimming across the Panama Canal. And
crazy.
Manny, he's the only cat other than a tiger that I've ever showered here. Yeah. He actually likes the hose. And of course I do that, you know, away from him, see if he wants to come over, and then he went through it and he was like, ooh, I like that. So that was pretty fun. Most cats obviously do not like water.
No, if you spray a bobcat, like, you've ruined their life.
Ruined their life. Even some of the tigers, like Cully is like, excuse me.
Yeah, Cully doesn't like it either.
And these guys, they are not only very strong, they're very smart, very sneaky. He's only 14 years old, which for most of our cats is pretty young by comparison. In the wild, they would live to be like 10 to 12 years old. So if he were out in the wild, it would definitely be, he'd be a geriatric cat. But since we give them great quality food, excellent vet care, lots of space, they have a pretty stress-free life. We usually just about double their lifespan here. So he is so fit and strong. So we have to stay far away from him, keep track of him, make sure we're not turning our back on him. You know, basically the same stuff we do for the other cats, but to the 10th degree. Yeah. Because he will test our limits.
Absolutely.
And when we clean the enclosures, we walk around the outside with a long metal scraper pole to pick up any feces or old enrichment. We scrape it over the side enclosure. We pick it up with barbecue tongs, and we have to shut him away when we do that because we do not take any chances. No. He can bend metal, and he has. He's ripped up water bowls before.
Yeah, water bowls, water buckets, and I've seen cleaning poles come back completely bent in half, and I'm like, you cleaned Manny today, didn't you?
Yeah. we take him seriously.
That's a crunch bed.
So we are not going to feed a leopard today, but if you guys have seen any of our leopards on our live streams before, or if you ever come here or went to a different facility, leopards and jaguars probably look the most similar, but jaguars are very stocky. They are built for strength, like I was saying. So they're all muscle. They have a very broad head, and their rings, their rosettes, have dots on the inside. Leopards don't have those dots on the inside of their rings. And they're slim, they're agile, they're built for running, jumping, climbing, swimming, basically everything that requires agility. So that's the easiest way to tell them apart. Crunch, 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 crunch.
Plus, I've never seen a leopard just rip the entire top half of a pumpkin off.
Yeah, oh my God.
The way that I've seen Manny do it.
I bet Jinx wishes he could do that. Yeah, we like to give them pumpkins for Halloween time. And Manny, when he crunched through his, all I could think of, that could be an animal's skull. Because that's actually how they kill cats, or excuse me, not cats. That's how they kill other creatures in the wild. Sir, you missed a drum.
You better come get this drum. He's like, I'm going to wait till you want to try to get that drum. Oh, he's going to sneak in here. Why are you being sneaky?
Oh,
hi.
He's such a ham.
Why are you being sneaky? You better come get that. All right, we'll go to Aries.
Aries knows this this time because he just started purring.
I know.
So in the wild, not to get a little graphic, but I will. In the wild, cats kill their prey by going for the jugular, except for jaguars, they crush their skulls.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
Very efficient.
Yeah. Thanks. Oh my goodness sakes.
So we're gonna feed Aries our cougar boy. And like I said before, Jinx already got his breakfast. He's the leopard that lives next door to Aries. So he looks like he's over at the side begging for a treat. He already got his breakfast.
He is flat catting still. We told you, sir.
So you can see his lookout is up, so he already got his breakfast.
Yes. I know. We're gonna watch Aries for a minute and then we'll turn around for you. Like I'm not gonna show Jinx. Yeah, he's usually not on my routes either. Actually, I think go this way. So she has to open that guillotine door and secure it over there. Oh my goodness. Rawr. Whoa, he's gonna help you.
So Aries is our only cougar right now. He is 14 years old. 15? He might be 15 now.
14.
14.
Still
Okay.
14, yeah.
Whew. Which, like I said, it's not too old for our population, but we're definitely keeping an eye on him, making sure his kidneys are working well and everything like that. Aries in the wild will be found all over North and South America. They have lots of different names depending on where they're from. They actually have over 40 names in the English language alone. So he's from the Midwest, so he would be called a mountain lion or cougar. In Florida, we have Florida panthers, which is a subspecies. In South America, they'd be pumas. My favorite name for them is catawampus. They also go by ghost cat, mountain screecher, lots of different names depending on who's talking about them and where they're from. They also have lots of different colorations to blend into where they're from. So in Florida, they'd be a reddish color to blend into, we have a lot of red clay naturally. In the Midwest, they'd be grayish or light brown like him. Sir, you better take a breath.
I know, he's really guzzling.
Crunch, crunch, crunch. There you go. And these guys have so many amazing vocalizations. So if you could hear him purring earlier, these guys are the biggest cats that can purr. It is unreal to have a cougar purring near you. It just like takes your breath away because their whole body shakes.
Yes, it does.
And especially him, he's just known to be such a big purr. And they scream, they yip, they chirp. And actually, I think one of the first times I was near him when he was fed, he screamed. And it sounded like a woman screaming, and it stops your heart. I actually thought someone had been injured. And they're like, no, that's just a cougar being fed. And I was like, oh my God, is that normal? And they were like, yeah. Okay. But yeah, very loud cats.
Yes, they are. Let me try to get a side view of him here.
Look at him just slurping it up.
Yeah, you have such an appetite today, sir. I love it. You can see his tail barely fits into lockout. They love to keep their little tail out just so, just in case you're going to close that door.
And actually, their tail, it's very, very long. It's almost the same length as their body. It helps them for balance and power. So these guys are the best jumpers of the cats. They can jump over the height and length of a yellow school bus. So
it's amazing.
I could not imagine seeing one in the wild jumping from rock to rock. Whew, you just back away slowly.
Yeah. Do not make eye contact. Get out of there.
So you can see, I don't know if you could quite see this in definition at home, but I'm pointing like they can see. But his sides, you can see how he's kind of gorge eating, what I was talking about before. They kind of like accordion themselves to be able to accommodate for more food. And cats like him, they just slurp it up.
You better eat that last thigh.
Well, good boy.
Got one more thigh, sir.
Don't pull a Manny. Oh, he's pulling a Manny.
All of them have done that today. That's so silly.
Also, not to make him feel self-conscious, but you could see his primordial pouch too.
Yes.
So I like to call that the cookie pooch. But that also helps them gorge eat. It's more skin. It's like an additional just couple inches. It's hard to describe without pointing to him. But it's that little dingly bit basically. And that helps in the wild to accommodate for more food. It also helps if they get into a fight. It's just a little bit of extra padding to prevent them from their internal organs being swiped. I used to get that question so much on tours. They'd be like, your cats seem a little thick.
Chunky.
And I'm like, yeah, cats in the wild are very, very lean. But even domestic cats, like my cats, have the little cookie pooch. Sir.
Guess he's leaving that one. He's gonna taunt Jinx with it. All right, let's get Jinx his close up real quick.
Boy here.
Hi, Mister. Oh, best boy. This is
He
Jinx.
was cracking me up this morning. I could not walk away because he was playing with all of his toys and rubbing in his palmettos and showing his belly. He's very, very scary though.
He has the best belly.
Oh, he does.
You have the best belly.
It reminds me so much of Saber's belly.
Yes,
Just a big, big old man leopard belly. No offense, sir.
Hi.
But you're 20 now.
Oh, you wagging your tail now?
He's like, I don't get it. Is this playtime now? Is it not feeding time?
No. Jessica called it their jiggly puff.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I might take that.
All right, kids.
You'll get a Serval later.
Yes, he'll always get something.
Look, I don't get it.
I'm sorry, Bob. Aww. All right. Thank you, Sharon, for the donation. So we've still got about 25 minutes. So we've got our two girls left, right? We have Sapphire and Kali.
So, have people been getting Sapphire and lockout closest to Kali?
I've seen it both ways. I think the one I noticed was down for her is her old lockout, like nearest Aria. So we could either, I don't think we can pass Kali without feeding her. So we'll probably have to do her and then go to Sapphire, but she did look slightly like offended we hadn't fed her yet this morning, so. All right, so we've got Kali tiger and Sapphire, our only white tiger left. I mentioned earlier that Jordan is a level 2 intern. Normally on a regular tour we would have a guide, which would be Sarah, and then Jordan would be the backup, and he would basically be at the back of the tour helping keep, we never had tours more than 20 people, but just kind of keeping everyone together in a group and helping make sure everyone's questions were answered and things like that. So we thought it'd be fun to still try to keep a traditional feel for these virtual tours. And like Sarah mentioned, everybody in this area has already eaten breakfast except for Kali and Sapphire, so. And you can always tell when the big cats have been fed versus who hasn't, because their lockout doors will still be down. Now Kali is one of Sarah's favorite cats, aside from Jinx, so. Yeah.
So she gets a lot more food, obviously, than the other cats. It's gonna take me a little bit longer to put it in.
Yeah. Gonna try to find a spot to not be in the sun. My stabilizer lately has been just overheating. So many chuffs, lady. So many chuffs. So her lockout door's down. Hi, lady. Hi, honey. That is a chuff that you're hearing. She has the best chuff on property. I'm sure Sarah will totally agree. Jordan agrees. Yep. You can feel it. Yes, it's a scientific fact. Yes. My goodness sakes.
I think Jasmine's the runner after best chuff.
I agree, yeah. Yeah. Well, for me though, I'll say Kimba only because it's so rare that when he does it, I'm like, that's perfect. Yes. Yes. When you get one, you feel really special. Yes, actually, Servi the Serval is back outside in her outdoor enclosure. You got all the rest of the juice in there. Let's get a view of that real quick. This is Kali's plate. She gets, I think, roughly 10 to 12 pounds of food a day. The boys get closer to like 15 or 16. Good job, lady. I'm just gonna walk back over here. I'll give you space though. Just trying to find shade. I don't want the camera to die when we still have another cat left. That's happened before.
I love her squidgy nose when she eats.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to pick Kali because she's my favorite. So when they asked me which cats I wanted to see, I was like, yes, I would love to see Kali. So she's 20 years, or she just turned...
Yep, just turned 20.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Which is crazy because she's still so youthful and bouncy and chipper.
She is.
But she was rescued from a facility in Georgia where the man had a bunch of different exotic animals and took very, very good care of them by our standards, even though he wasn't accredited. The only difference was he actually handled them. So he bottle fed her and had took her out on leash with, you know, people who came to see her, and that's obviously not something that we do here, or obvious to us.
Yeah.
We do not do that. And a lot of people ask if you buy a tiger at a very, very young age and raise it by hand? Will they act differently than other cats? And we can tell you wholeheartedly, no. She might not look it, but she is very, very, very protective about food. It used to be really scary to feed her, although I think she's mellowed out, but she would just hiss and bark and growl until you walked away. And I mean, I'm sure she might have had a special connection with her previous owner, but after she settled in here, she did not show any signs she wanted to be pet. A lot of times the cats rub up at the side of the cage and people ask us, ooh, do they want scratches? And we do have a back scratcher program where master keepers can use a back scratcher, an extendable one, to scratch them, but I don't think any of the tigers do any. No. I don't think they're on that list.
I don't think we have any tigers.
Yeah, and we do that out of a necessity when they get mats. It's not like a comfort thing.
Right, yeah.
So I always like to tell people, if you saw a cat in the wild, even if it was a cub, would you go up to a tiger cub and hug it? And the answer is no. You would run the other way. So there's a lot of facilities around the country and around the world that have cub petting operations where you could pay a lot of money to pet a tiger or lion cub or leopard cub, and it looks so cute and it's a very beautiful photo op. But the question is always what happens to the cat after you leave. So those cats can only legally, and it's legal in a lot of states, I should add. It's federally legal too, but some states have banned it. But it's legal in Florida, and these cats can only be used up until about 8 to 12 weeks old. That's the federal guideline. And usually there's not a lot of tracking or registration for these guys. So a lot of times inspectors can't tell if they're 8 to 12 weeks old. So sometimes they'll be bigger than they should be. And they're often drugged and starved and beaten into submission so that people can hold them. Because little cubs just want to play. They don't want to be held by humans. They want to run around. They're just like domestic kittens in that they have a lot of energy. And you have to think, why are they being submissive and why are they letting people hold them? So a lot of times they have health concerns like ringworm and diarrhea, and people should not be handling them. And especially because after that, they oftentimes end up in the pet trade, or they're sold for tiger parts, or whatever animal they are, whatever parts. So bones or fur. I've even heard of tiger wine, where they make wine from the tiger bones, which makes you like physically ill to think about. Or they end up kind of just, quote, disappearing, so we don't actually, they literally lose track of them. We don't know what happens to them. Or they end up in canned hunts where people pay a lot of money to go in a small enclosure with an animal that's usually drugged, and they can kill them. It's horrible. It is people, I think one of the things that's most important to educate people about, because you don't know about it until you hear about it. So it looks really beautiful, and you see people posting about it on Instagram or Facebook, and you think, oh, that looks adorable, I want to do that. But please just do your research before you go to a facility. If they have people handling tiger cubs or lion cubs or any exotic animal, just really think about how they got there. So that's one of the biggest things that we educate people on here. The good news is there are ways that you can help. If you text CATS to 52886, you can help support a bill that lets us, we're lobbying to ban the private ownership of big cats and cub petting. So it would grandfather in any pre-existing owners. Honestly, we don't have enough space in accredited facilities to take on the amount of tigers that there are in the U.S. In captivity. So in the wild, conservationists estimate that there's 3,000 to 5,000 tigers left. In captivity, there's really not a definitive number, but they think up to 10,000 in the United States. So we're going to grandfather in any pre-existing owners. And if people take good care of their cats, if they register them, get insurance, and keep up good standards, they can keep those cats. But this is the best thing you could do for all the cats here. So like I said, if you text CATS to 52886, you'll be sent a link. If you click the link, you'll be given a script about how to what to say to your representatives and senators to call them and support them, and tell them, I support the Big Cats Public Safety Act. I hope that you do too. Like I said, there's a script. It takes literally less than 5 minutes. I've done it multiple times. Usually you get a voicemail greeting, especially on the weekend. If you do it during the week, honestly, those representatives and senators are way too busy to answer your call, so it's usually an intern or staffer. And they're not scary. They just take your information down. So like I said, best thing you do for the cats, you can go to bigcatact.com to get some more information about that. Kali was not from one of those operations, but she was handled by people, and it's something we feel very strongly about. We have another tiger named Amanda who was so traumatized by being cub petted when she was little. She is further off the property. We used to have tourists here in person, and we couldn't bring tourists to see her. She was so traumatized and just angry. And, you know, it's not our right to say whether or not she gets seen by people, so we're okay with just letting her live her retirement off
sight.
Sight.
Yeah,
Sort of.
out of sight.
Out of sight, that's the word.
Yep.
But yeah, Kali,
Very
thankfully
good.
though, she has lived a very, very good, happy life.
She has.
And she loves it even more here.
She's
She
perfect.
has lakefront property, so you can't see it from here, but it stretches all the way over to our lake. And she loves lying under her platform and feeling the lake breezes. She has pools of running water, so she loves to back her butt in and keep her paws out really dainty, like she got a manicure. So that's oftentimes what you'll find her doing, especially on hot days. Ooh, who's that? Is that Bridget?
You better finish that.
Oh no! She says, I'm a big girl. I decide if I want mush or not.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have one cat left for you guys. Great timing. So we're going to go see, we'll see. She may finish this. We go back through and we check every single cat we've already seen today. And if there's any food left over, Sarah will pick that up. Yes. You better finish. You better finish, lady.
So she has, I think, some of the most beautiful tiger stripes. Tiger stripes are unique to each cat. All the patterns on cats are, but an interesting fact about tiger stripes is they go down to their skin. So if you were to shave her for an operation, you'd see them on her skin like a tattoo or a birthmark. And when the fur grows back, it's in the same pattern. And that's true for leopards too. So that's why they say leopard never changes its spots.
Yeah.
It's also very helpful when they're doing conservation research in the wild to set up camera traps.
You're so good.
And they can take pictures of the cats and come back years or months later and see if the same cats have been through.
Yeah,
We do that for
I
every
think
cat
that's
dog.
amazing. Yeah. Jamie has a deep catalog of, oh, are we going to see a tiger belly? Tiger roll.
Oh my goodness. What a happy kitty.
You're so perfect.
Oh, that belly. It is a full belly cat. Yes.
But yeah, Jamie does take extensive photos of all of our rehab bobcats so that we can check their patterns. If we were to ever get a call later in life of an adult in an area we know we've released a cat, we're able to kind of check our catalog, see if it's one that we know or not. All right, on to Sapphire. I don't know if she's... I think they closed the one down there. All right, so we are approaching our last cat, and thank you so much to the 19 of you now that have donated. Really, really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed Sarah. She's just so enthusiastic and so intelligent and so passionate, and she gets involved with anything and everything animal related in our area, and just human rights, and she's just all around an amazing person. So I'm really glad you guys got to experience a tour with her. She's usually a Sunday regular, so it was nice that I could steal her away for a tour today. So Sapphire's our only white tiger, so we'll talk a little bit about white tigers. We'll watch her have breakfast, and then we'll be calling it a day. Thank you to everybody who's been sharing this. That's how we reach new people, and to all of you comment warriors out there helping any new people understand, you know, what it is they're seeing here. That's so important. We've got so much to share and so much to tell all of you, so very excited. Oh, why has she got that other door down? Maybe somebody thinks she's double locked out still? I mean, that used to be a thing.
Well, I can put it here and then walk right in.
Yeah. All right, well, she has two doors down for some reason today, but that used to be a thing when she was, I feel like when she was on the lake for some reason. We have a few cats that have been double door lockouts. For instance, the Texas tigers were always double door locked. Duchess tigers, double door locked. Lady, we'll get you over here, don't worry. We'll get you over here. Just a little bit longer to walk. Oh, let's not pee.
Oh my gosh, don't throw me into this.
Yeah, that was just a warning, I think. Hi, lady. Hi. Don't do it. She's feeding you. You should not do that to her.
You got chicken breast and chicken drums.
Wow, yeah, she's got a lot of, all the chickens. So thighs, drums, chicken breast, it looks like, and then mush. So her lockout door is down. There's a second door down that we will be opening. Somebody's asking, what is a sickle? You probably heard us say that earlier. That's a popsicle. We make popsicles for the big cats. We can mix the blood runoff from their beef, from their food, or we'll blend up like tuna or mackerel or chicken, and we mix it with water and we freeze it in cups, and then they get like a really fun popsicle. All right. All right, you gotta follow Sarah. You gotta follow Sarah all the way around. Yeah. She's gonna stalk you all the way around. This will show you a little bit of the space that they have, because Sarah has to walk all the way around the other side to open this other door. And then she'll come back around and we'll talk about her a little bit. Yeah, Jasmine Tiger's on vacation for like another week and a half or so. I'm not sure who's after that. Good girl. It's all you. That is all you. All right. Yeah, it's really interesting when they choose to go to the mush. She's very growly today. I can tell you're not going to want us to talk much. She's being very growly. Yeah, she's being very growly. How about maybe I come over here, and that way you can still chat.
So this is Sapphire, our white tiger. She's our only white tiger right now. And she came from Ohio. She was rescued from the same place as Jinx, the black leopard that we saw before. So she came from a facility where the state of Ohio decided they were no longer taking good care of the cats, if they ever did.
Yeah.
And so they seized them, and we agreed to take them in because we figured it'd be better than a government holding facility while the court case was going on. So we put them in quote-unquote witness protection program, and they were in it for a few years. And then we were not involved in the court case. It was just the state of Ohio and the former owners. Mm-hmm. And we took care of them financially and emotionally. And so we were really excited earlier, 2019, I guess now.
Yeah.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
The case settled in favor of the state of Ohio, and we got to keep them, which was very good.
That was amazing.
They came from a pretty terrible facility, and we also love them very much.
We had 4 years to fall in love with them.
I know.
The thought of them taking them away was...
I used to joke I would chain myself to Jinx's cage and protest if they tried to come take him. And Gail would just look at me and be like, I know, honey, but they're not our cats technically. And I was like, I know. But anyway, so she's our only white tiger, like I said. These white tigers are pretty common in captivity, so we tend to think that they are regular tigers, just because we're told by a lot of facilities that they're snow tigers, or what are you doing?
She's being so goofy.
That's your tail.
Yeah.
But these guys are actually unnatural. They're a product of inbreeding. So they have a trait called leucism that's very, very recessive, which means it's very rare. And the easiest way to produce rare genes is by inbreeding. So in the wild, these guys actually descended from the line of the Bengal tigers in India. And a white cub was found in the wild. It was taken out of the wild by someone who found it, and it was bred many, many times over, and they kept producing orange cubs. And they tried breeding it to, not Sapphire, this is talking about the ancestor.
Right.
The person who had that cub tried breeding it to one of its relatives, and they were able to start producing white tigers. So most of the white tigers in captivity in the U.S. are related because they come from a very similar bloodline, which is obviously horrible for them genetically. It comes with a lot of birth defects, just like when humans are a result of inbreeding. So a lot of times they have digestive issues, or in Sapphire's case, she's very cross-eyed. That's very common with white tigers. Our other white tiger we had before her is Abu, who passed away last year. She had a hair lip, so she was missing her upper lip, so she had tons of dental issues. And it actually kind of affects her personality. We think Sapphire is a little
I always call her
special.
neurotic.
Neurotic.
Like, yeah.
She gets very, very fixated and very hyper on other cats and just very aggressive randomly, and she'll like bite her own rear and
Feet
her own
and tail.
tail.